أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of all the worlds. We welcome our friends in South Africa, the United States, and around the world to this week's edition of A Conversation with El-Hajj Mauri Saalakhan. I'm pleased to be your host, coming to you once again through the Salam Media platform out of Johannesburg, South Africa. Salam Media is an online portal for humanitarian journalism. We don't just report the news. We advise you on what you can do about it. Today's program is titled, When Protected Speech Becomes Unprotected. The case of Jacob, Yaakub, Ira Vijandre. Now, let me begin by stating I know this brother personally. Brother Yaakub is a good man. On recent visits that I've had to Texas, I had the opportunity to be in his company on two occasions. He welcomed me as a guest in his home, sparing me the expense of a hotel. And I just came to know of this brother as a good, conscious, committed human being. What's important to note about Brother Yaakub is that he's in his late 30s, but he's been in the United States, for a good number of years, since he was a child. He came here as a DACA recipient. He has DACA, well, we thought he had DACA protection. Now, DACA is deferred action for childhood arrivals. That's the meaning and the purpose of DACA. Deferred action for childhood arrivals. It's an immigration policy that provides temporary protective status from deportation and a work permit to eligible undocumented immigrants who came to the United States as children. Now, this is a very important point. Again, this brother has been in the U.S. since he was a child. He has, so we thought, protected status. That protected status was violated simply because he exercised what he thought was his freedom of speech, what he thought he was entitled to, according to the Constitution of the United States of America, is freedom of speech and freedom of conscience. This is an activist-oriented photojournalist who covered, he was known to cover a lot of the protest demonstrations that took place in Texas around different human rights related issues. Again, a very well-known and respected figure in his community, and I know him personally. He's a good man. With that being said, I want to begin by sharing the release, the media release of this comes from MLFA, but it comes on behalf of the legal team, which comprises a number of lawyers from different organizations. I want to share this release on Brother Yaakub. It spells out in detail what this case is really all about. It's titled, Mr. Jacob Yaakub Ira Vijandre files an amended habeas petition challenging his unconstitutional detention based on his protected political speech and expression And again, this particular release was issued by the Muslim Legal Fund of America on behalf of the team of lawyers that has been working on this case. It reads as follows: for immediate release, Mr. Jacob Yaakub Ira Vijandre files an amended habeas petition challenging his unconstitutional detention based on his protected political speech and expression. And this was filed, if I'm not mistaken, in Waycross, Georgia on November 13th, 2025. Now, when the brother was initially detained, he was detained in the DFW, Texas area where he has been residing for a good number of years. And then the government decided to move him to Georgia, no doubt to make it more difficult for his support team of lawyers and others to have easy communication with him. They've done this in a whole slew of cases. You know, they're known to do this. Try to make things as difficult as they possibly can for the person unjustifiably in the dock. So he was moved from DFW, Texas, to Waycross, Georgia, where he now resides in an ICE center, no doubt under very uncomfortable conditions, to say the least. This release reads as follows. On November 10th, 2025, Mr. Jacob Yaakub Ira Vijandre filed a first amended petition for writ of habeas corpus in the Southern District of Georgia, challenging his ongoing imprisonment as a brazen violation of his First Amendment and Fifth Amendment rights. Mr. Vijandre, a DACA or Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals recipient, is a freelance journalist and human rights activist who has used his camera and social media platform to document Palestinian rights advocacy and to chronicle human rights activism. He has also been at the forefront, and this is very important, of exposing the due process violations, miscarriages of justice, and inhumane prison conditions in cases prosecuted in the quote-unquote war on terror, including Dr. Afia Siddiqui and the Holy Land Foundation defendants. Today, Mr. Vijandre finds himself a victim of the very governmental overreach and state repression he has long documented. The amended habeas petition exposes a shocking bond hearing that took place on November 3rd, during which the government attorney and immigration judge, Suzette Smikle, weaponized Mr. Vijandre's faith and speech. During the course of the hearing, immigration judge Smikle found that Mr. Vijandre's social media activity, which included sharing videos of himself teaching martial arts, liking Instagram posts of Quranic verses, and sharing footage of an event on Dr. Afia Siddiqui's case held at a Dallas mosque constitutes proof that Mr. Vijandre endorses and espouses terrorism and is a danger to the community and a flight risk. Subhanallah. Mr. Vijandre, who has lived in the United States for 24 years, 12 of those years with DACA protection, has deep ties to the United States. His great-grandfather and great-uncle were awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor for their service in the U.S. military during World War II. He has no criminal record and has repeatedly been approved for DACA protection, most recently in May of 2024, just last year. Mr. Vijandre's amended habeas petition must be viewed within the context of this administration's renewed repression and political targeting of those with dissenting viewpoints on Palestine and U.S. foreign and domestic policy. Following executive orders targeting quote-unquote anti-Semitic and hateful speech by non-citizens, the Trump administration has weaponized immigration enforcement against Palestinian rights advocates, students, and journalists. Mr. Vijandre's amended habeas petition asks the court for the following: to order his immediate release from detention, declare his detention unconstitutional, strike down the endorse/espouse terrorism provision as unconstitutionally vague and overbroad, or in the alternative, order a constitutionally adequate bond hearing with the burden of proof on the government, which is where it belongs. A front row seat to xenophobia masquerading as justice. Mariam Uddin, legal director
Sheikh Mohammed Jabbar
at the Muslim Legal Fund of America, MLFA, who attended the November 3rd bond hearing, described the experience as profoundly disturbing. The judge and prosecutor didn't just misunderstand Islam, they openly mocked it. When jihad was explained in its true meaning as a struggle, a spiritual and moral striving, they dismissed it and immediately equated it with violence and terrorism. When presented with Arabic calligraphy and an image of a fighter on a horse, imagery rooted in culture and faith, the reaction was not one of curiosity or neutrality, but suspicion and xenophobia, end quote. Here's another quote. What happened in that courtroom was an appalling assault on the Constitution, said Mauri, human rights attorney and executive director of Project Taha, who also represents Dr. Afia Siddiqui. Another quote, to treat this case as a routine matter of immigration enforcement obscures the essential truth. Mr. Vijandre is being punished for his faith, his speech, and his political beliefs. by detaining Mr. Vijandre for his activism and journalism. The United States government is mirroring the tactics it has long criticized abroad, suppressing voices that dare challenge those in power, intimidating journalists, and chilling public debate. Although Mr. Vijandre is the government's canary in the coal mine, while detained, he draws strength from his years of documenting the oppression of Muslim prisoners and pro-Palestinian voices. It's a beautiful quote, and I wholeheartedly agree. Here's another quote. The government is detaining a longtime resident because of his social media posts criticizing and reporting on prison conditions and due process violations. If this constitutes domestic terrorism, then who will be jailed next? Said Eric Lee, partner at Lee and Godshaw Bennett, LLP. Again, partner at Lee and Godshaw Bennett, LLP. Here's another quote. This isn't incitement to imminent violence. The legal standard for unprotected speech, explained Samantha C. Hamilton, staff attorney at Asian Americans Advancing Justice Atlanta. This is journalism, religious expression, and political opinion. If the government can detain Yaakub for these activities, no non-citizen who speaks out on controversial issues is safe, end quote. Here's another quote. Detaining a journalist for his beliefs undermines the very democratic freedoms the Constitution was designed to protect, said Meredith Yoon, litigation director at Asian Americans Advancing Justice Atlanta. This case is about much more than one man. It's about whether dissenting views can be criminalized, end quote. Here's another quote. This administration promised to set the Palestinian rights movement back 25 or 30 years. And they're making good on that promise by arresting, detaining, and deporting people for their speech, said Christopher Godshaw Bennett, partner at Lee and Godshaw Bennett, LLP. But the Constitution doesn't allow the government to silence dissent by locking people up. That is the end of this very informative press release. On this note, what we'd like to do is take a commercial break and come back on the other side.
Our brothers and sisters in Palestine are enduring unimaginable hardships. Ashraf teams are on the ground delivering crucial aid to those in need, but we can't do it alone. Palestine is suffering and they need your help. Your support can make a world of difference. Visit www.ashrafulaid.org today and donate to bring hope, relief, and healing to those who are in need.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness. And every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers. where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and freezer card calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
World-class financial services only at Sapphire Global, your financial partner. If you are looking for Islamic, Sharia, and ethical financial products, look no further. Sapphire Global offers a wide range of financial service offerings from short-term to life and investments. A full-service center with all financial requirements under one brand. Our highly skilled and experienced consultants are ready to help protect your financial future. Contact us on 041 001 0184 or visit our website on www.sapphireglobalfs.com. Sapphire Global is an authorized financial services provider.
More than 800 million people around the world live in deep poverty, uncertain of where the next meal will come from. For those on the brink of starvation, a food pack means survival, dignity, and hope. Send food. Send kindness. Be the reason a family does not go hungry. Donate now to Islamic Relief.
Hey Gulam.
Yeah?
Did I return your lawnmower last month?
No, bhai, you didn't.
Oh no. Now what'll I do? I wanted to borrow it again, man.
With Randry Jewelers, you won't have to borrow or lend because the prices are so well trimmed on all gold and diamond jewelry. Alternatively, we could remake your old jewelry into a brilliant new design. Visit Randry Jewelers at 151 Stevens Lamini Road, Musgrave, Durban. Randry Jewelers, the family name you can trust.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media, your humanitarian broadcaster.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the case of our brother Yaakub out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas. And specifically, you know, the focus is on protected speech and when what we understand to be constitutionally protected speech becomes unprotected. Brothers and sisters, friends of Salam Media and the host of this particular broadcast, El-Hajj Mauri Saalakhan, we are in very challenging times. We're in very, very challenging times. And the challenges that we are faced with today are not going to go away anytime soon. These times are a test for those of us who claim to be about justice, who desire to be about justice. This is a test for us. It is also an opportunity for us to be able to measure the weight of our character. We're able to measure how strong the character that we have is, how strong the commitment we have is to issues of peace through justice. It is also an opportunity for us to measure the extent of our commitment to the better of the two Americas. There have always been two Americas. There is the America that is projected to the world, the America that we have come to know all too well, rooted in all kinds of contradictions. But then there is that other America. We have seen glimpses of the other America at different points in this nation's history. The other America that really strives to be about, what it claims to be about, a land of liberty and justice for all. And again, we have seen flashes of this America. But those flashes that we have seen have only manifested themselves when the right amount of pressure was brought to bear to try to force it to live up to the better part of itself. I am an African American. I come from a very unique tribe of people in this global community. My people have a very unique sociological experience in this part of the world. It gives us, those of us who are connected to it. Not everyone is. Not all of us are. But those of us who are connected to this sociological experience in the right way, it gives us a very unique perspective through which to see the different periods of struggle this country has gone through. It gives us a very unique lens through which we are able to see and measure the contemporary struggle that faces us all. And it also places us in a very unique position to aid that struggle, to help this country live up to the better part of itself. I mean, brothers and sisters, this is what our broadcast, I believe this is the final broadcast in the Sunday lineup of broadcasts at Salam Media out of Johannesburg, South Africa. That is what this particular broadcast is all about. Again, Salam Media is a network that's all about, providing an avenue for the kind of journalism that defends what ought to be defended, both in South Africa and throughout the world. Advocacy journalism is what this network is all about. And that's the reason why I have been comfortable in being a part of this network. When the invitation was extended to me, I have been comfortable in being a part of this network for a number of years now. And my particular broadcast, the broadcast that I am honored to host at the end of the Sunday lineup, is all about human rights advocacy. It's all about challenging us to live up to the better part of ourselves, accessing our consciences, both individually and communally, to help us be on the right side of the challenges that face us today in the United States, in South Africa, and in other parts of the world. This issue that we're dealing with right now is just another one of the many manifestations of the issues, the myriad of issues that challenges us to be better. And I know that this is a very challenging time that we find ourselves in, very challenging. But those of us who are people of faith, who are truly people of faith, don't just claim it. Don't just claim to be people of faith, but truly believe that there is a God and that there is a day of accountability. This is an opportunity for us to go deep within and to actualize what we claim to believe in. This is an opportunity for us to pull from our faith, whatever our faith tradition happens to be, for the betterment of ourselves and for the betterment of those around us. For the Muslims, we are reminded in the Quran of that verse, do men think that they will be saying, that they will be left alone on saying we believe and that they will not be tested. Another verse in the Quran, or do you think that you will enter the garden of bliss without such trials as came to those who passed away before you? They encountered suffering and adversity and were so shaken in spirit that even the prophet and those of faith who were with them cried, when will come the help of Allah? The help of Allah is always near. It's always near. It's always near. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, the Prophet Muhammad, he said, when you see an evil action, you must change it with your hand. If you cannot do so with your tongue, if you cannot do so, detest it within your heart. And that is the weakest degree of faith. This is what our brother Yaakub understood. And to the best of his ability, this is what he tried to do with his journalism. He was not a terrorist. He was a journalist, just striving to do his part to help make his country better, help make his country live up to the better part of itself. And he did this as a DACA recipient, not as a full-fledged American citizen, as he thought, as a protected DACA recipient who had been in this country since he was a child. It's a shame what the United States government, and specifically this Trump administration, is doing to him and so many others. It is a shame. It is a shame on us. And they're doing this in large part to send a message of intimidation and fear, to make those of us who have more rights, who have the full rights of citizenship, so afraid that even we will be quiet. Not just DACA recipients, not just immigrants that are here on special work visas, legally in this country working, who out of conscience decide to participate in a protest demonstration, or students on a student visa at a college or university who also decide out of conscience to participate in a human rights oriented demonstration, to send a message of intimidation to them. SubhanAllah, this is not the better America. The people who are doing this, from the president on down, who are doing this, they do not represent the better of the two Americas. Let us be clear about this. They do not. At the end of the day, it is up to us, those of us who strive to represent the better of the two, to stand up and to speak out. Because our failure to do so enables these criminals in high places to do more and more and more to eviscerate the rights, the constitutional rights, and the God-given rights that each and every one of us are supposed to enjoy. With that being said, I want to shift now to another area that we wanted to cover in today's broadcast. A dear brother and leader in Islam of ours just passed away. Brother who is very well known in the Big Apple, in the city of New York. Very well known from decades of struggle and conscious representation. His name, Imam Talib Abdul Rashid, the long-standing imam before he passed away of Masjid of the Mosque of the Islamic Brotherhood. The Mosque of the Islamic Brotherhood in the village of Harlem. We want to share some information on this brother. I want to begin with a piece of insightful commentary that comes from the Amsterdam News. a well-known newspaper out of New York City. And this particular article is dated June 2nd, 2017. June 2nd, 2017. The title of the article is Imam Talib Put on the Whole Armor of God. Very, very insightful piece. It reads as follows. Imam El-Hajj Talib Abdur Rashid, then 66, is the Imam of the Harlem-based Mosque of Islamic Brotherhood, Inc. According to his biography, before being elected to his present position in 1989, he served as the assistant imam of the MIB, which is considered the lineal descendant of the Muslim Mosque, Inc., founded by the late Minister Malcolm X, El-Hajj Malik al-Shabazz, from 1979 to 1988. He told the Amsterdam News, quote, I grew up in the South Bronx. My family moved there in 1959 from Greensboro, North Carolina. My late mother told me that at the age of 8 years old, I informed her that I wanted to become a Lutheran, and she agreed with my choice, even though we were traditionally Baptists. The Imam became a teenage Sunday school teacher at the age of 16 and pursued his curiosity concerning religions until his freshman year at Syracuse University. He admits that he studied all Christian beliefs and even read up on Buddhism, but did not learn about Islam until the age of 17, when he read the autobiography of Malcolm X. My goodness, brothers and sisters, that book, the autobiography of Malcolm X, it has been the avenue by which so many folk not only became conscious of Malcolm, and through that consciousness of the life and legacy of Malcolm became activist oriented, but it has also been a means that has led so many to Islam. Getting back to the article. At the age of 20, he read a little paper-bound book entitled The Elementary Teachings of Islam. Imam Talib remembers attending a dinner given by some Muslim students in 1969, which rekindled his interest in Islam. Ironically, the Imam was majoring in theater, with a particular interest in Black theater. Quote, one day, a brother comes up to me and hands me a script from the play, The Trial, which caused me to read all I could find on the Nation of Islam, to become familiar with the character that had left the NOI, he said. He continued, quote, shortly after that, I met some African-American brothers from the MIB, the Mosque of Islamic Brotherhood, who invited me out to the Jummah prayer service in April 1971. I had been a Muslim since then. Alhamdulillah. End quote. Imam Talib, according to his biography, has given sermons and lectures in mosques, churches, and synagogues throughout New York City and beyond. He was a presenter at the Parliament of World Religions in Chicago in 1993 and in Cape Town, South Africa in 1999. After the bombing of the World Trade Center on September 11, 2001, Imam Talib became known as a spiritual first responder, speaking to the moral implications of the tragedy. An audiobook was created from his narrative of 9/11 entitled Restoring Faith, America's Religious Leaders Respond to Terror with Hope. He was chosen as the American Muslim speaker to give a keynote address at the International Conference on Religious Pluralism in Democratic Societies in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia in 2002. The history of Islam in the West rests on the back of Black folks fighting against white supremacy, said the Imam. He went on to say, we are living in the time of the prophetic manifestation of the chickens coming home to roost. The liberating effect centered on freedom, justice, and equality in opposition to their global plan of white domination. There is a group of people here blowing up Black churches and bombed the building in Oklahoma City. That is the real implacable enemy. He goes on to say the political conflicts throughout the world today have spiritual implications. As Muslims in America, we don't go for the violent extremism being expressed, but we understand why it is happening. I tell people, if you want to understand it, read Frantz Fanon's Wretched of the Earth. End quote. The Imam continued, quote, we here in America have always practiced Ramadan, even in slavery. We understood that Ramadan keeps us spiritually fortified. Ramadan is reconnection, submission, spiritual purification, all of those things, but also spiritual warfare against evil in high places. 9 days ago, Christians and Muslims had a gathering at Abyssinian Baptist Church. I told people that this is a profound spiritual time, and now is not the time to get caught up in spiritual madness. We must strive to bring ourselves closer to Allah. End quote. Let me repeat that line. It's very important. And this is the kind of dawah, this is the kind of jihad of the tongue Imam Talib was known for. Quote, 9 days ago, Christians and Muslims had a gathering at Abyssinian Baptist Church. I told people that this is a profound spiritual time, and now is not the time to get caught up in spiritual madness. We must strive to bring ourselves closer to Allah. End quote. According to Imam Talib's biography, he became a community liaison to the NYPD in the mid-1970s. However, his public advocacy for police reform began in the 1990s on behalf of justice for the families of Shuaib Abdul Latif, Amadou Diallo, and Osmani Zongo, 3 young, unarmed black men killed by the NYPD. In 2011, he voiced his opposition to both stop and frisk and surveillance of the Muslim community. In 2013, Imam Talib received several awards, including the All-Star Projects Bridge Building Award for Leadership in Community Relations, in recognition of his long and consistent record of interfaith work in New York City. The Micah Justice Award of the Micah Institute at New York Theological Seminary for his prophetic model of social work over 25 years, and the Citizen of the City Award of the Police Reform Organizing Project. That's the end of this Amsterdam News article. Inshallah ta'ala, let's go to our final commercial break, and then we will conclude on the other side, inshallah.
You know, it's a wonder how kids get anything done these days. With all the distractions, when do they even get time to study? As a mother, all I can really do is make sure they have all they need to perform at their best. That's why I choose to include Sunfoil, triple refined pure sunflower oil with every meal I make. Naturally cholesterol-free and approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a balanced eating plan. So whether I'm cooking, frying, or baking, I know every dish will be a wholesome one. Sunfoil, now we're cooking.
World-class financial services only at Sapphire Global, your financial partner. If you are looking for Islamic Sharia and ethical financial products, look no further. Sapphire Global offers a wide range of financial service offerings from short-term to life and investments. A full-service center with all financial requirements under one brand. Our highly skilled and experienced consultants are ready to help protect your financial future. Contact us on 041 001 0184 or visit our website on www.sapphireglobalfs.com. Sapphire Global is an authorized financial services provider.
Gaza needs your support more than ever. Homes have been shattered and families have lost everything. With your support, our teams are delivering clean water tankers, feeding the hungry, and assisting orphans who have no one left. Let us give Gaza whatever help we can. African Muslims Agency, empowering, educating, inspiring.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media.
Yes, indeed. We must listen to Salam Media. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, so we're talking about the need for us to stand up in these times of challenge. We began by bringing attention to a political detainee out of Texas, a brother who is now being held in Georgia, our brother Yaakub, a good brother, who's a young Muslim in Islam. He's just been a Muslim for maybe 2 or 3 years, but he hit the ground running once he embraced Islam. He's just a very good brother, and he deserves whatever support we can give. And then we also are shedding some light on the passing of a good brother of ours by the name of El-Hajj, Imam Talib Abdur Rashid of the Mosque of Islamic Brotherhood in Harlem, who just passed away. His janazah is tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. at Masjid Malcolm Shabazz, the historic masjid named after and established by El-Hajj Malik al-Shabazz, Malcolm X, way back in the day, that sits on the corner of 116th Street and Lenox Avenue in the village of Harlem. Inshallah ta'ala, Brother Saalakhan is going to try his best to make it there for the janazah that begins at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. I want to conclude with the following. Our brother out of California, out of Oakland to be specific, Amir Abdul Malik Ali, wrote a very touching piece of remembrance regarding Imam Talib that I'd like to share as we draw this broadcast today to a close. He wrote the following on the passing of Imam Talib Abdul Rashid. Quote, "A giant from the African American Islamic tradition has returned to Allah. Imam Talib Abdul Rashid was well known, but he was not a quote-unquote celebrity imam. Imam Talib spoke truth to power. He had the unenviable task of continuing the legacy of El-Hajj Malik al-Shabazz, Malcolm X, in his attempts to establish Islam in America while struggling for the liberation of our people. Imam Talib reminded us that Islam must be on the forefront in the struggle for social justice, irrespective of the consequences." Sister Betty Shabazz, Dr. Betty Shabazz, said Malcolm believed true leaders of our people must be willing to go to the graveyard, the hospital, or prison. Imam Talib was willing. A few years back, the Oakland Islamic Community Center invited Imam Talib to California to give a series of talks on Islam and African American history. And let me say here parenthetically, Amir Abdul Malik Ali, brother, if and when you see today's broadcast, your brother Saalakhan would love to be invited back to the West Coast and specifically to Oakland to deliver a series of talks on the same issue from my humble perspective as a human rights advocate with quite a number of years under my belt. But getting back to what you had to say about Imam Talib. He gave a series of talks on Islam and African American history. The talks were informative, inspirational, and practical. At the conclusion of his talks, we viewed Imam Talib as the leader of African American Muslims, particularly due to the incarceration of Imam Jamil Abdullah Al-Amin, the former H. Rap Brown. And we told him so. Imam Talib knew that African American Muslims must play a critical role in helping to protect our immigrant brothers and sisters from government harassment. With his knowledge of Quran, Sunnah, and Sirah, as well as the history of America, Imam Talib served as a shield for the Jamaat. May Allah grant Imam Talib the highest level of Jannah and grant him honorable mention among later generations. I really love that line. I love that line. Honorable mention among later generations, meaning this brother and his legacy will not be forgotten. That future generations will remember him the way we remember El-Hajj Malik al-Shabazz, the way we remember Paul Robeson and Fannie Lou Hamer and Mary McLeod Bethune and Harriet Tubman, you know, Paul Robeson, how we remember them. I love that line. Honorable mention among later generations. And then he goes on to say, may Allah grant patience to his family and to the believers of the legendary Mosque of Islamic Brotherhood. And to this we say, Ameen. Now, brothers and sisters and friends, you know, in the final minutes of today's broadcast, I just want to remind us of what the bottom line of today's broadcast is, what the final line of what I shared with you from the lawyers who are representing our brother Yaakub in both Texas and Georgia, and what, you know, the passing of Imam Talib, another mujahid, you know, of Islam, of Islam in this part of the world, what his life and legacy and his struggle has come to symbolize. You know, the bottom line is that when protected speech becomes unprotected, people of conscience across the board, irrespective of what religion you belong to, irrespective of what your political affiliation or ideological affiliation is, people across the board, people of conscience, must stand up and they must speak out. And especially those of us who are securely in this country as citizens. We have got to take a stand. We can't be fence sitters. We can't be neutral. We can't just remain in the shadows in fear of what might happen if we stick our necks out. Because if we don't stand up, what we end up doing is we give more and more rope to the oppressors to strangle what's left of this democracy, what's left of the freedoms that we are all supposed to be constitutionally entitled to, not just citizens, but also non-citizens who are in this country. This administration who is in power right now is just, they're running this country into the ground. They are tearing this, what's left of this democracy apart. And they're doing this in full view of everyone, in full view of the world. What they are doing is a challenge to us all. We must stand up. And on that note, I end as we normally do. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wal asr. Innal insana lafi kusr. Illa alladhina amanu wa amalu salihat. Wa tawassaw bil haqq. Wa tawassaw bis sabr. Which means, in the translation of the meaning, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, by the token of time through the ages, surely humanity is in loss, except those who believe and do good, and exhort one another to truth, and exhort one another to patiently persevere. Peace be unto you. Assalamu alaikum.